Okay, so today again we are going to continue our session on the class.
Mhm.
So till now we have covered kind of how we can write a class, and in the class we can write method, constructor, variable, right? So
Right.
let's continue more some rules and regulations while writing class, or
Mhm.
maybe while inheritance. There are some uh, many times we have applied some different rules. Those rules we are going to again continue to learn, right?
Mhm.
So let us example. We have a write uh, uh, one class.
Mhm.
It's your class super class. Okay,
We are going to learn today like superclass and then child class and subclass, those things.
some rules, yes.
Some rules. That's good.
So this is the class, and in this class, uh, let us a method like void
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
Any method can be one method say that say is out hello. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
so whenever someone create, now this is the super class, we can create the object of super class, right?
Mhm.
And here I say super class dot say.
Mhm.
This is very basic. This method say hello, right?
All right.
It's good. Uh, but I can let I want to say not hello, just say some message, right? Hello plus
Mhm.
ABCD message, right?
Okay.
This method is okay, but here I am not passing anything, right?
Mhm.
So let's can I pass like here something like uh, again call the say and pass like uh, my name, okay?
Mhm.
Or any say John, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. So I think whenever you look this code say कि there is a no any kind of say method that takes some argument, right?
Mhm.
So you can say I can write another method that can take some input parameter, right?
Mhm.
So here our objective, let's I going to write the same method with the same name but different argument. Here I say
Mhm.
different argument like a message, right?
All right.
String message. Okay. And whatever the message I have, right? Just plus
Mhm.
message,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So now notice in the super class I have a two method. One is the say, one is the say with message, right?
All right.
So whenever you run, you notice this line says say hello, but this
Mhm.
line say John, say
John.
hello John, right?
All right.
So this is the one concept in OPS principle. In one class, if you defining more than one method with the same name, like either
Mhm.
not same name say two
Mhm.
method name with the same name,
All right.
right? So this
Mhm.
concept known as a method overloading.
Method
What is
overloading.
this?
Method
Method
overloading.
overloading.
All right. Okay.
So this is the one more principle. Lots of things we know. Now we are going to the give name. Okay. So this
Yeah.
concept known as someone say कि you know the what is overloading? You
Mhm.
can say overloading means whenever one class
Mhm.
defining
Mm-hmm.
method with the name like say, and again define this method, another method with the say, same name. If
Mm-hmm.
name is the same, that means
Mm-hmm.
we are overloading with this name.
Overload. Okay.
But compiler needs some demarcation, some differentiation between two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So compiler say कि I am going to allow you can write two method, three method with the same name, but you must need to change this parameter list, right? So that कि
Mm-hmm.
I can understand कि which method you are going to call, right? Let's कि if
Mm-hmm.
you are not writing this, right? Here,
Mm-hmm.
two same method. Here
Mm-hmm.
I can call like a say. Here
Mm-hmm.
I create my object and I can say. So compiler is not clear. I am going to call this method or this method, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the same method don't look like a duplicate method, right? These are the
Right.
duplicate method. And now compiler not clear key in which method you like to interested to call, right?
Right.
Here you are going to call hello or hello John, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the confusion, state of confusion.
Right.
So Java designer say there is a rule. You can define
Mm-hmm.
same name, multiple method must give some differentiation between these two, right? And that would be your parameter list, right? So whenever you pass maybe parameter one, two, three, now these are two is the different, like name is the same, but now
Mm-hmm.
here compiler very clear, you are passing same method, calling same method with no argument. That means I have to call this method, right?
Okay.
If you say कि I am going to call say, but I pass some string message, that means कि
Mm.
you are interested to call this message, right?
Right.
So this is the clear demarcation up to your Java runtime system, so that कि whenever you are calling say method or say with the parameter, it
Mm-hmm.
will give you the clear answer, right?
Okay. Okay.
So till now, any confusion? What is method overloading?
Methodable. One more thing I would like to just like in my way, I would like to express you.
Hmm.
Method there if there is like two method,
Two method.
if there is two method,
Hmm.
and then it is like I would like to say in one simple word, just like it there depends on each, not depend any method or one method is depends on another method,
No,
something like that.
no.
No. No.
So be clear, in a Java or any programming language, method overloading या function overloading is meaning in a one class you are defining more than one method with the same name, like say,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Uh-huh.
So this concept known as a method overloading means कि
Oh,
you are
okay.
overload, overuse of this say function, right?
Okay. Say function. Okay.
So let us a good example like we have a write a sum one method like that
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, void sum function, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometime you want to sum up two number integer
Right.
a number comma b number, right?
Right.
So whatever say s out a plus b, right?
Right.
Integer sum equal to a plus b, right?
Yeah, right.
And here just print out s out.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to sum, you can use this here. Hey, object dot sum. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you say
Mm-hmm.
sum, and sum you have passed two number. Let's 10 and 20.
Yeah.
So now you can given only one method sum with the return the sum of two number what you pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And might be someone say कि I want to sum up three number. I want to sum, but not that only two digit. I want to three.
Oh, okay. I want three
So
digit.
I
Okay.
can say I can pass some a comma b comma c.
Right.
Just see. So here our method name should be sum because we are doing really sum, right?
Uh-huh.
We can use this method name like sum, same sum, but different number of argument, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let someone want to the neither 30,
Right.
right? So here in the our class, how say ki my class can take sum of 2 digit or 3 digit or 1 digit, right?
Right.
So here what we are doing, we are writing the method with the same name but different input argument. Yeah, parameterized.
Uh-huh.
So now this sum method is a overloaded method.
Acha.
Similarly, this same method is overloaded method. That
Overloaded.
means you are defining method with the same name as a more than one method in the class.
Acha. Acha.
So here say this sum method is overloaded. Why? Because sometime we call with the two input, sometime I call with the three input, right?
Right. Right.
Similarly, here same method is overloaded because say I am calling no argument and then
Mhm.
calling one argument, right?
Right. Right.
So this concept known as a method overloading.
Right. Okay.
Till now, any confusion? What is
No.
method overloading?
Now we gotcha. Yeah.
No, I got it.
Ria, do you have anything?
Yeah, I
Confusion?
got it.
Method overloading. Great. So till now it's okay. Good ops. So now sometime this method till now I'm discussing ki in one class. Okay, in
Mm-hmm.
one class
Mm-hmm.
we can say method overloading, but it
Mm-hmm.
is a not 100% right definition because
Acha.
nowadays we have already done class one and there is also subclass, right? A child
Mm-hmm.
class.
Right.
So if they have a relationship like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Relationship.
Right.
Okay, that means ki some method already inherited here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So might be I'm defining some a method here. A already inherited come from here as well as, right?
Right.
A name have a two method here also.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to say this is not only say ki overloading only possible in the one class. If
Mm-hmm.
we have a relationship like a child class, subclass. Let's say I am
Mm-hmm.
writing a class subclass, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Subclass, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in subclass, there is
Mm-hmm.
a no till now there is no inheritance. So
Mm-hmm.
here I can return like a sum. Let's example sum. Sum with the
Mm-hmm.
four argument. Sum with
Right.
the let's I say sum with the four argument.
Right.
A B C D
Right.
plus T, right?
Yeah.
So if you notice, I am going to create the subclass object now.
You did.
So let us create a subclass equal to new
Mm-hmm.
subclass. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the subclass, I can call dot sum. Notice have
Mm-hmm.
only one method like take a four argument.
Mm-hmm.
Like sum, you have to pass like a 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you run, it will give is the sum of 1 2 3 4, right?
Right.
Sum of 1 2 3 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in this class, this is the independent class. There is no any kind of inheritance relations, right? So
True.
this sum method is not overloaded. Why? Because from this this object sum class,
Mm-hmm.
we cannot
Mm-hmm.
call any other method like sum dot sum up. I want to just sum up two, only two
Mm-hmm.
digits, like 1 comma 2.
Right. Right.
We cannot do because sorry sum. We cannot call here sum of two digit only
Acha.
because compiler is not happy. They say compiler say कि your subclass don't have any sum method, we take
Mm-hmm.
only two argument.
Acha.
Because if you go to the subclass here, in subclass have only one method, sum with the four argument.
Mm-hmm.
But here you are trying to say sum with the two argument, it is not possible.
Acha.
So till now you cannot say that some method is not overloaded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a only defined some method with the four argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here you are interested, I want to sum up the two number. But in
Mm-hmm.
this subclass, there is no sum method about two subclass. So here I
So,
cannot say overloaded. But I know ki I have one class that already have a sum with the two argument, right?
mm-hmm.
So why I cannot reuse this method, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to say currently we have one
Mm-hmm.
class that have a sum with a two argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are writing another class that have a sum of three four argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
This class currently from this subclass, I want to use the sum of two number. We cannot do because this there is no direct relationship between these two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is not possible. We cannot use this sum method because we have already sum method written for two input argument, but this class don't have access.
So,
So what I can say? I can say I need sum of two number. So two option
mm-hmm.
have. I can
Mm-hmm.
go write again method here, right? I can
Right.
go again write the method like here, sum of two argument. I can go again, right? In
Mm-hmm.
this way. In this way, I can write. This is the one way, right? I can go. This means I can override this sum method again, right? With the two argument.
It's a override, or we can say,
Just
okay,
listen, overloading. I'm saying ki now I'm overloading these two method in the
right,
same class. So
right.
this is the one way. If there
Uh-huh.
is no relationship, that means ki I am duplicating this code same again here. Notice
Yeah, yeah.
I am just duplicating code again and again. So this is
Sure.
the you say ki I am use the inheritance is one of the use to reuse the some code, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
here the problem now our same subclass is able to sum of the four number or sum of the two number. Why? Because in subclass I have given the two method. Sum is the four argument or sum is the two argument. But
Right.
notice this code already I am written in the another class, right here class, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means we are why not we can use this class itself. Might be subclass I want to add up the three number sum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comma three number also. But notice in this there is no three argumented, but this is already exists in another class. This class already have one method with three argument. So why not
Mm-hmm.
I can reuse the same.
Right.
So I am not interested to write duplicate code here. I am not interested to write duplicate code again here,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
So in this scenario, I am going to say I have a one superclass. I have they have it already some method of one argument comma two argument, right?
Right.
We they have also one method like one argument, two argument, three argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
Already I am writing another class. This
Mm-hmm.
class have a some method with the one argument, two argument, three argument, four argument,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. Right.
So if this class want to sum of these two as well as, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a two option. I can copy code this here and this here, right? Again, second option, I'm not going to copy paste code. I'm going to just use the inheritance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm say inheritance can be just inherit this function to here, this function to here.
Right.
So here, notice currently our compiler is very unhappy to call this subclass. Compiler is very unhappy. Compiler cannot call these two methods. Sum, one argument and two argument. Compiler is not happy with this, right?
Acha. Acha.
Compiler don't know ki what is the three argument because subclass have not any such method. Notice subclass have only one method.
Mm-hmm.
The compiler is not happy from subclass. You can call these two method.
Acha.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So only two option. You can go and write this code here or use the inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm saying already this class already written this logic, right? Why
Acha.
I'm
Right.
going to write? Why I cannot use the inheritance? So I say
Mm-hmm.
here extend means do inheritance from your superclass. Whenever I this Notice our compiler is very happy to run this code.
Acha, acha.
If you run, the compiler now able to run this code.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mhm.
let me just write here. This is the
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
superclass sum, and this is your subclass sum. Okay.
Mhm.
So notice in this subclass, I have defined only one method, like a sum. So
Okay.
here, can we say this method is overloaded or not? If someone looking this code, surely say not overloaded. Okay.
Yeah,
Not overloaded. Yeah.
from this one because of.
Hmm. But notice carefully, whenever I am going to create the object of subclass, right? I am
Mhm.
calling some method with a 3 argument, with a 2 argument, with a 4 argument.
Yeah.
What indicate? That means this sum method is the overloaded method because you are passing different input argument.
Right.
So in this scenario also we can say this sum method is overloaded. Why? Because
Yeah.
due to this inheritance. That means
Mhm.
in this super class, someone written the same name method like here, like here.
Acha, acha.
So only this possibility come. Why say that this subclass some method is overloaded because the same object using the some class object I can call some method with the 4 argument, some method with
Mhm.
the 2 argument, some method with the 3 argument. That means the
Right.
some method is the overloaded method,
Right. Right.
right?
Mhm. True.
Let me comment this. So notice here I'm just creating one object subclass and I can call
Mhm.
some method one time, two time, three time by different
Mhm.
parameter. So this is the
Mhm.
definition of your overloading.
Right.
Means any class, the object, you can call same method again and again with a different input parameter. That means
Right.
this sum method is overloaded method.
Right.
So you can say overloading is not only in one class. In the case
Mhm.
of inheritance, also overloading you can achieve. Notice whenever I run code, so this is the uh, sum sum of from this is the your subclass, and this is from superclass. Notice.
Mhm.
So whenever you are calling like here in
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
whenever you creating the subclass object, you will call it sum with the 2 argument. In
Acha.
this, if you notice in this class there is no method with the 2 argument, but still
Mhm.
you are able to call. Why? Because due to this inheritance,
Acha.
right? So
Uh-huh.
whenever some subclass object say call sum of 1 comma 2, right?
Uh-huh.
So here first go check here. Some exist not. That means this come from inheritance. Go to the
Mhm.
superclass. And then
Mhm.
to go to the superclass, yes, sum is the 2 argument function. They can call superclass sum.
Mhm.
Can we remove those 4 lines
One
or
minute.
comment out?
Which
Uh,
one?
go down in the subclass. Yeah,
This one.
these 3 lines. Yeah.
I have commented.
Okay.
So
Now
notice
it
now.
should still work. Yeah.
No. They have a one, two, three, four argument. Now no 4 argument method here. Even not a superclass, right?
Mhm.
So notice this work, 2 argument work, 3 argument work, this 4 argument say ki there is no such method.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So I
Okay. Okay.
I cannot run this one, but still I can run this too. So notice subclass have a no name method, right?
Mhm.
Still we can call some method of a two.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if you uncomment that,
This one.
then this one. If you uncomment the other, if you uncomment the subclass,
Okay. So notice
Yeah,
here you cannot call this because there is no 4 argument method, right?
right.
So now let's go and uncomment. Okay.
Okay, now it should work.
Then the 4 argument also works.
Okay, okay, I got it. I got it.
So that means this subclass have only one method, like 4 arguments, this method, right? But these two are come from the inheritance,
Okay,
right?
now if you take this and put it in the main class, will it still work?
Which one?
The 4 argument, that method.
This four
If you-
argument. This is the
Yeah,
method where I can
yeah.
place.
If you put it in the main subclass, the superclass.
Here, yes. If you place here, it's also work. Let's place here.
Yeah.
It's also works.
Okay, okay. I
There
see.
is no problem. Now, this all come from all come. All you are getting
Oh,
out, right?
yeah. Got it. Got it. Yeah.
So here our intention is that I'm trying to convey this is overloading is the definition. It's not only bound to the one class. I'm trying to say, right? We have writing another class, subclass. Here writing is a sum method. So look like in this class I have only one sum method, right? But it is overloaded method. I'm trying to say, right?
That's
Why
right.
overloaded? If you look this here, in the subclass object, I can call sum in the 4 types. 1 argument, 2 argument, 3 argument. That means this sum method is the overloaded method.
Right.
Okay, okay. I see. I see. Yeah.
So
That is the whole
someone,
point.
yes,
That is the
yes,
point.
someone look this subclass. That means it says the subclass have only one sum method. Notice only one sum method. So someone say this is not overloaded. I'm saying this is the overloaded. Why? If you look the way we are using, I am creating the subclass object, but I am calling sum with the 2 argument, sum with the 3 argument, sum with the 4 argument. That means this sum or method is the overloaded.
Ajay, in here one question.
Yes.
That is like you already called that like some method.
Hmm.
But like, why not we are going to call in one shot? Like, because of A1, B2, that's common for all three.
Hmm.
C3 is common for the last two. C4 is the last one. So
Yes.
why not we are going to call subclass dot sum
Hmm.
A1, B1, C2, C3, and D4? But like when we are calling the subclass sum A1, B1, definitely it is a part of that. Like, I mean, it is a overload
Hmm.
overload from that is the
Hmm.
subclass somewhere the 4 numbers are there.
Hmm.
We can do that, or just we have to call like this manner.
No, you can do because whatever the here, whatever kind of method you define, you can do. Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Here I am written like a method, written the 4 argument, so I am calling this 4 argument. Record.
That's
The only intention is that I written a one method sum that take a 4 argument, right? So here, if you're going to call, I have to call the 4 argument, right? The only purpose.
Right. Okay.
So any doubt, any confusion with overloading?
No, it's good now.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Overloading means a class have a method same name with a different parameter, right?
Right.
Like here, in the case of a super class, I'm saying say 2 times, but sometime no argument, sometime one argument. This is the overloaded, right?
Right.
Similarly, here sum 2 times sum, but the different parameter list. This is the overloaded, right?
Sure.
And similarly here, subclass have a overloaded sum method three times, right? I can call sum with the 2 argument, 3 argument, and 4 argument. So
Right.
overloading is can do in one class, only one class, or overloading can also do in the subclass using the inheritance relationship, right?
Okay.
So this is your superclass and this is your subclass. You are
Right.
defining same name function here with the x argument, right? And here
Yeah.
same name method you can define like x and y argument, right?
Right.
So this is the 1 argument, this is the 2 argument. If this is the inheritance, that means this class have a 2 method with the same name. One come from here, one is here, right?
Right.
Due to that, say in subclass also overloading possible.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and look the lots of internet material, always teach overloading in only one class, right? But
Mm-hmm.
whenever
One
you are
of
doing implementation coding, it is a possible we can do overload loading in the child class as well as,
Acha, acha, acha,
right?
acha. Mm-hmm. True. True.
So it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Let's one more tweak here. What happen this class say
Mm-hmm.
here in the super class say method? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let me I comment this. All I comment, right? As of now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I am simply say subclass
Mm-hmm.
object one equal to new subclass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah.
And notice this is the super class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is super class.
Mm-hmm.
All other you just mentioned this is super class method, right?
Right.
These all are the super class method, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the subclass method. So
Right.
notice I have created one subclass object one. From this
Mm-hmm.
class, I can call
Mm-hmm.
method that is defined in this class or defined in this class as well as.
Acha.
Any method you can call using this in due to the inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Notice from subclass, I can call say method
Acha.
dot say. Notice.
Mm-hmm.
So notice in this method, I'm not defining any say method. I
Mm-hmm.
am creating a subclass object. Subclass object, I can call the same method.
Acha.
Notice, but same method is come from the superclass. Notice
Mm-hmm.
how to superclass say. In this subclass, there is no same method, right?
Yeah.
But while creating the object of subclass object, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Object, I can call the method say.
All right.
So how possible? Because someone look this say and say there is no any say method. Again, you are calling here say. How possible? Due to the
All right.
inheritance.
Acha.
Because this subclass have a some superclass, right? Some parent.
Mm-hmm.
And
All
if
right.
compiler not found here anything, that means they are sub relationship. And go
Mm-hmm.
here and oh, this is the same method they can call. Okay.
Acha. Mm-hmm.
If notice, if I remove the inheritance relationship here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remove it.
Mm-hmm.
Now here compiler is very unhappy. Compiler say, I don't know what is the say.
All right.
Okay, say method not found, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it only feasible due to the if our subclass make a inheritance relationship with the superclass, right? Whenever you write this code, that means you are making relationship between the this is the
Nice.
superclass and this is the subclass. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
If only say object of subclass, I can say call that same method, right? There is
Mm-hmm.
no same method here. Compiler say कि there is no same method. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Mm-hmm.
okay, I make a relationship here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after that call say, compiler found oh say he had defined something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this logic they can call. So I am trying to convey here कि whenever you are creating the object, if this object is the subclass object,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so you can invoke method that is defined his superclass as well as, right? Even there
Acha.
is no any same method here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it good?
It is good. Yeah.
And last time study class say कि whenever we are going to the create a subclass object, okay, compiler first going to create the your superclass object.
Acha.
Here I
Mm-hmm.
say write new subclass. The compiler will going to create the your subclass object as well as your superclass object. You are creating like here one object, but internally compiler create two object for you. Why? because whenever say new subclass here, but here you make a relationship, right?
But like when the compiler is going to create that one, that would be like a
Yeah.
hidden,
Yes,
hidden.
that will not hidden. That will create the object. They
Acha.
created two objects, one for your class. How to ensure? Just write a constructor, right? Just write a
Mm-hmm.
constructor. You know the output, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Whenever compiler create object, you can call constructor, right?
Right.
Superclass constructor,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is,
Yep.
and similarly you can write constructor here, subclass.
Sure.
So in the last class I explained कि whenever any child object create, okay,
Mm-hmm.
notice here I am creating only the one object of the subclass, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means whenever you run, but it will invoke the first, notice, superclass constructor, then
Mm-hmm.
subclass constructor.
Mm-hmm.
In the reality as well, as any, if one child born, right,
Mm-hmm.
parent must be exist, right, or not?
Pen must be what?
Parent must exist, right? First parent, then
Oh
child,
yeah, yeah. First
right?
parent. Yeah.
Reality. Similarly, here you say, I am going to create one object of our child class. So
Mm-hmm.
compiler say, before I am going to create a child class object, first I have to create your parent, right? The
Right.
first super class object created, and after that child class going to create, because
Mm-hmm.
your child might be inheriting some feature from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here I am inheriting feature like say, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this object is not created, then how child class can say inherit the property say?
Right.
So please be note, whenever you are creating a child class object, super to super to super, all super class first be created. Now might be this parent have another grandparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this grandparent also created.
Acha.
So depend upon the level of inheritance you did, all the super object created by default whenever you're creating a child object, right?
Acha.
Might be we have a let's another class, right? Another subclass and other another sub another subclass that
Mm-hmm.
extend your subclass, okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and this is the default construct, right?
Right.
Just paste here. Okay, let's just I'm going to comment here. I'm going to just create a new another class, one object I'm going to create, right? Nothing,
Right.
but compiler know कि, okay, new object, this have a subclass of, this is the superclass, they go here, first create this object, before going to create this is another superclass going to create here
Mm-hmm.
the first.
Mm-hmm.
So all the inheritance, all the hierarchy, they must internally created. So notice I'm just creating one this object, right? But
Mm-hmm.
internally, before creating this another object, before creating this first parent, then another parent, then this object created. So be note, whenever you are creating object of your child class, parent to parent to parent, all parent object, complete hierarchy is built by your compiler, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is okay. So
Yeah.
and last class I also did. This is the super class
Mm-hmm.
Java. Like in this case, another class, subclass, another
Mm-hmm.
subclass, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And parent is the subclass, right?
Right.
Subclass. Subclass parent is the your superclass, right?
Right.
Superclass. And by default, if you are not writing any extend keyword, okay, that
Right.
means this class is going to extend by the your object class.
Acha.
Last time I discussed, right?
Right.
Object class. So in Java, all in. every object is the subclass of the parent class of all Java classes is the object class.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
also.
can directly say कि whenever you are writing any simple Java class, by
Mhm.
default you are using inheritance. By default, we are using inheritance because there are
Right.
some methods we are inherited from the object class.
Mhm.
Object class,
Right.
right?
Ajay bhai,
Hmm.
can you explain line number 21?
Hmm.
Is it
21 says just create another class object, right?
okay? So this is how you write, like new and the normally you
New,
type.
new, another class name and other class name,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Okay,
So here our intention that कि whenever you are writing, let's get the variable name. Okay, this is the object. As you notice in this class, we have not written any method, right?
right,
Mhm.
If you run by default, there's one object, two by default, one object, two object, three object created.
right,
But not only three. I am trying to say that this is the one object for this, right? Before creating this, they are going to create this object, right?
Mhm.
right,
Before creating this, they are going to create this object.
Okay.
Before going to create this, they are creating the object class.
Mhm.
right,
Object class. This is the by default Java driven class object. So I am just creating one object, but internally Java create complete hierarchy.
Hmm.
Some behavior can be inherited here, some behavior can be inherited here, some behavior can be inherited here, right?
अच्छा.
right.
So good example. Notice in this class I have not written any kind of method, right? No
Mhm.
method here, but still from this object I can call method. I can call a method. Let's hash code. Notice there is no any method I can define in this class, but I can call hash code method.
अच्छा.
Okay.
Mhm.
From where this method come? This method is inherited from your object class.
अच्छा.
So notice this is some number generator, right?
Mhm.
So I am trying to say that this is the come from the inheritance. So by default Java, you can create any simple class, right? That
Mhm.
is subclass. What is the
अच्छा.
superclass? Superclass name is the object class. Notice this hash code method come from this is the superclass of all classes. This is the class. By default, Java provided this class.
अच्छा.
This is the object is the class that is provided by the Java library. And
Mhm.
whenever you are going to write Java, any simple class like class test, by
Mhm.
default compiler make inheritance from your this class. This become a superclass. This is your child class.
अच्छा.
Due to that, I can invoke these are the method. Like notice here, this is the method I call hash code.
अच्छा.
These are the method are defined inside your object class.
Okay.
Due to the inheritance, you are able to call this method like hash code, like get class, right? Like
Mhm.
notify, like wait. These are the method you can available for each and every method.
अच्छा, अच्छा, अच्छा.
So is it clear? Whenever you are writing any class, you're writing any class. Even
Mhm.
let's key simple way. I write simply class test. There is no any inheritance, right?
Yeah.
No inheritance. I am going to create the test object.
Mhm.
Just comment. I am going to the create test equal to new test, right?
Mhm.
Created. And simply say sout test dot hash code.
Mhm.
I'm not given any kind of code here. Notice in this class there is no any my code, right? But
Yeah.
still I'm able to call this method as code, right?
Yeah.
This method, that means, come from the inheritance, right?
Acha.
It- Please note, whenever you are writing any class,
Mhm.
by default, your class become a subclass of your object class.
Subclass
Of your object class. Object is the superclass.
of superclass. Yeah.
Here I am writing test. Test my subclass.
Acha.
So whenever writing any class, you are not doing any kind of inheritance. By default, they are extend from this object class.
Acha.
Like here, in the case of your another, this class, there is no inheritance. Still, this is the child class. You can see in the Java, whatever you class writing, this is always be subclass, always be child class.
Acha.
Look like there is no child here. Look like this is the simple class, right? But it
Mhm.
is a internally subclass of your object. Object class is a superclass. This is the
Mhm.
subclass, child class test. And if you write class like or another class, manually you can say I am going to use inheritance here, inheritance, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Subclass. And subclass say this is my superclass. And superclass say there is no subclass. Still, this class is extended from your object class.
Yeah.
So you can say ki whenever you're going to create any class, by default, all class is inherited from your object class. So is it clear?
It
Yeah.
is. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So this
Yes.
is the one rule you should aware, right?
Mhm.
So let's come to the our point. Hmm. One just one point I am to just highlight here. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So here say ki I have a one subclass. Go to the my subclass. Subclass have
Mhm.
a only constructor and one sum method, right?
Mhm.
It's okay. And here I can call say method. Problem is kya? Say means if this say method is not defined in this subclass, right? In this class, that means this come from inheritance, right?
Acha.
Is it clear now? From where
Yes.
this say method come? Say method is from the inheritance rule. Means ki this have a some subclass, maybe superclass have a this same method, right?
Acha. Mhm.
But sometime I want to call say method. Here notice say method is called hello from the
Mhm.
superclass, right?
Mhm.
Sometime I want this say method not print hello. They print subclass hello, right?
Mhm.
I'm interested because this I'm created the object of subclass, right?
Mhm.
But I'm getting output like superclass hello. Say hello, right?
Acha.
Notice I'm getting this line superclass say hello, right?
Mhm.
So is it possible I can change my output? Now notice our output currently say superclass say hello, right?
Mhm.
But my intention I want if I created the object of subclass and say subclass dot say hello, so I want to change the output. I want to change the output. I don't want our this method say subclass object dot say I'm calling this is saying superclass say, right?
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
want to change this output.
Acha.
That means ki whatever the logics of say method.
Mhm.
So this is our subclass. This is the
Mhm.
subclass, and
Mhm.
subclass has one superclass, right?
Mhm.
Superclass.
Yeah.
This say function defined here. Say
Mhm.
function defined here, right? Here
Mhm.
logic written lay say superclass, right?
Correct.
But I want to this method can define here. Give my own logics. Yes, the same function. Notice here same function. I can define my class as well as here in subclass. Are you getting my function? Notice currently they call from the superclass. I don't
Mhm.
want this output. I want this is my class, this is my subclass, right? Here. So why I cannot say my own method here? And
So
here
what
I
is the
say ki this is the subclass say hello.
acha, okay, that I got it.
So I am trying
But
to say कि in your subclass you can define a method with the same as in a superclass. Notice here superclass also have a say.
right.
And now I can defining a same as some same method here in subclass.
Huh.
Now if you run, you notice our output. Now output change. Now here say subclass say hello.
It is making me confused now.
Yes, because here say कि this is the subclass, right?
Mhm.
Create the subclass and call the same method. In the
Right,
same method, I already written in this subclass.
right.
So this is subclass say hello
Mhm.
Why is it not calling the superclass?
because in the subclass I already have a same method.
Oh, it check here first.
Yeah, first preference is the local.
Hmm.
First preference is the local. If subclass already have a same method, then why I go to take from the superclass, right? Let's you
Mm.
have a one pen. Already you have. I say your pen. Give me pen. The first you look you have or not, right? If
Mhm.
you have, you give me. You don't have, then you can go and take from somewhere, right?
Right.
Similarly, here say main method say कि now we are creating the object of subclass and subclass dot say. The first
Mhm.
compiler say कि go check this subclass object. Oh, this is the subclass. Is there any same method? Yes, same method. So I'm going to call your method. I'm not going to check inheritance here.
Mhm.
Confusion or clear?
I'm clear.
So this concept known as a overriding. What?
Overloading,
Overriding.
Mhm.
Override.
overriding.
Override means कि we are giving the new definition because say
Mhm.
function already exists in a superclass, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
The say function already exists in your superclass, right?
Right.
I am going to defining same function in my subclass.
Acha.
Means कि overriding the definition. So overriding is the same signature. Notice here say no
Mhm.
argument and the same notice in subclass say. So this concept is known as a overriding. Overriding means whenever we have a one superclass and whenever we have a one subclass. Here we have a one method like a argument defined. A same method you can write here as well as subclass, right?
Right.
So this is known as a overriding. In
Acha.
overriding, signature would be the same. This would be the same.
Acha.
Notice in the superclass say nothing and say nothing, right?
Right.
So this concept is a overriding. The sometime you say here that overriding, right?
Mhm.
So like
Mhm.
this is indication that this method is the overridden.
Acha.
So sometime you can generate some code. This word keyword you find overridden, right?
Acha.
Override.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
This is the annotation. Just annotation indicate this same method is override. That means
Mhm.
the same function you can exist in your superclass,
Mhm.
right? So as of now, you cannot write that also work, right?
Yeah.
But this clear indication, this method is a override method. What do you mean
Normally,
override? Yes.
this word shows up in two string methods.
Yes, right in two string.
Yeah.
Whenever you say two string method come from your object class.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, that's why. Okay.
That's why.
Uh,
Twisting. Which twisting? I
Let's
didn't catch.
let's let's here say कि I am overriding two string method. Here right
Uh-huh.
click and generate
Mhm.
and say two string here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two string. Notice okay. So this is the override, right?
Acha. Acha.
So what is the override means? कि this method is come
Oh.
from inheritance.
right.
Means the super class must have a this. I just you click this arrow button. Notice here. This is the beauty of editor. Editor say this is over. Click here and you can notice this is the object class and this is the definition of your
Sure.
toString method. So this is
Mhm.
toString method already defined in the object class. But
Right.
same method you are going to define in your class as well as, right? Child class. So
Mhm.
you need to override.
Acha.
So similarly, our this is the our subclass, this is the parent
Mhm.
class. So we
Mhm.
can define overriding as well as.
Acha.
So is it clear what is the meaning of overriding?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
So these two concept today we cover what is overloading and overriding.
Yeah.
So we have considered two things. One is the overloading,
Overloading and
one is
overriding.
the overriding.
Loading.
Right.
So overloading means ki same method, like here sum, same
Mhm.
method more than two times, right?
Right.
Same method. But the parameter it is one argument that must be two argument, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. Yeah.
They need a differentiation, right?
Mhm.
But overriding always
Mhm.
need a superclass and subclass relationship. There is a
Mhm.
some superclass and there is some subclass. In
Mhm.
some superclass, I have a one method like a say, right?
Mhm.
Say method, right? A same function you can define here as well as say.
Mhm.
So whenever you are writing any method that is same exist in a superclass, a same you writing in a subclass, right?
Right.
This concept known as a overriding. That means
Over.
whatever the this feature inherited come here, just nullify them. Don't call super, just use my own new logic, right?
Acha. Mhm.
So here you can say ki whatever by default this same method inherited here due to the relationship. So I don't want to this inherited output. I want my own output. I can write logic. So here I can
Mhm.
write own logic here, right?
Mhm.
The compiler always prefers your definition. Whenever you write dot say, I'm going
Mhm.
say method first search in your class. If your class found, then invoke
Mhm.
your method, not going to call the superclass. If
Yeah.
in your local no sub method, then they are going to jump to the inheritance.
Okay.
Is it clear these two concepts?
Yeah.
Many places these are the used.
Mhm.
Overloading, overriding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Any confusion? Any
I got
doubt?
it. I got it.
So let's what happened here. I say ki this same method in the super class already same method, right?
Mhm.
And here also writing the same method. Let's this super class say ki this is the my method. No one can override.
Mhm.
What I can do
Mhm.
might be I am a class designer. This is the my super class, right?
Mhm.
And this is our child class.
Mhm.
I define one method here. This by default inherited to here, right?
Mhm.
Whenever someone call, always getting this my logic, right? But
Mhm.
you have an option, you can override, means you can copy the same code here, right? And write the
Right.
new logic.
Right.
But this super class have a privileges. I can say you cannot override my definition.
Mhm.
You cannot override. So there is a two option where you can say, when super class say कि our subclass cannot override.
Mhm.
If you say here like other override, right?
Uh-huh.
That means it is the indication that the subclass is overriding the same method. That means same method must exist in the superclass, right?
Mhm.
But in this, so I'm given the one. So what happened? This superclass say no, I don't want you override. So two options. They can say just a
Mhm.
private method cannot be overridden, right?
Private method, for
Cannot be
example.
overridden. So
I
notice
see.
here compiler is very unhappy.
Okay. That is one of the rules.
Right, yes, because there are some privacy as well, right? For
Yeah.
those data private. So this is the one thing, right?
Mhm.
If any method is a private, that cannot be overridden. That means you cannot override here, right?
Acha, acha,
So now notice, now we cannot call same method. Notice
acha.
same method cannot be called because there is a not available method, right?
Mhm.
So what happen if let's you are going to write this code in the subclass, right?
Uh-huh.
If you try to run,
Mhm.
so if you are using the indication like override, that means the compiler be clear this method cannot be overridden, right? Because
Uh-huh.
why? Because this say the private. Private means this cannot be inherited, right?
Right.
Right.
So someone developer say, look, I am not writing this thing. I am just comment out, right? Here
Right.
this way. After that notice, we are able to run this code. That
Acha.
means we are calling the same method, right? In the
Mhm.
same class. But this is the just same method, but this is not overridden method.
Mhm. Mhm.
In the subclass, you can define the same method, but here we cannot say overridden. This is not a method override because why? Same method you notice exists here, right? But this is a
Mhm.
private. Private
Mhm.
means this method never going to inherit it in the subclass. So please be note. Even you write the same method here, but this method we cannot say override.
Mhm.
The reason is that superclass impose some restriction, right?
Right.
The one restriction is in the private. If you uncomment, that means this is the overridden. Notice here the one mouse change, right? This is the
Mhm.
overridden method, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Go to the here. This is the overridden. From here, jump to the here, right?
Right.
So this is one way you can restrict overriding is the access modifier private, right? Another
Right.
way is the just write a final, keyword final. Final
Mhm.
method also not overridden.
Acha.
So these are the some rules later part we'll discuss, right? But as
Acha.
of now, just you understand overriding means same method exists in the superclass and subclass. That is mean
Mhm.
overridden
Acha.
as of now, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Other rules later part we can discuss.
Acha.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Let's do practice. These are the
Me
overloading and
too. I need
overriding.
to watch this
Terminology is the
one.
same because
Mhm.
whenever I am teaching here like overloading, sometime I say overriding. Same Anis asked question overriding or overloading. So here
Yeah.
I in the same class I tried to clarify both things, right?
Right.
That's right.
Don't confusion overloading and overriding.
Acha.
Now it's clear.
Yeah.
Overloading, overriding.
It's clear now.
Overloading means one method like a say, right? Say
Uh-huh.
method with the
Uh-huh.
one argument and say same method name with a different argument, right?
Uh-huh.
This method is the overloading because parameter change. Overloading rule is a parameter must be changed. If is the no
Right.
argument, one argument, or maybe two
Mhm.
argument, right?
Right.
So this is the rule for the overloading. Parameter must be changed,
Right.
but overriding. Overriding always feasible in the relationship. There must
Mhm.
need one superclass and
Mhm.
subclass first thing. This is the rule for your overriding. Overriding
Mhm.
only possible in the inheritance, right?
Mhm.
Need
Mhm.
a relationship means ki one
Right.
superclass, one class, and another class, right?
Right. Right.
So if you defining some method like here say method with the no argument. If same
Yeah.
method you can define here as well as say
Right.
with the same argument. Here the argument should be the same, right?
Mhm.
then you can say it is overriding. If you change the argument here, let's change like A, so this is not overriding.
Acha.
So the only minor demarcation about the overloading means parameter list must be different. Here say in overriding, parameter must be same. Here no
Mm-hmm.
argument. In the subclass also should be no argument.
Acha.
So now
Yeah.
clear differences between overloading and overriding.
Yeah.
Overloading means you are writing method, same method multiple time, time 1, time 2, time 3, but
All right.
you give the differences between that using the parameter list. You change the one argument, two argument, three argument. This is the must, right?
Right.
Else compiler not allow to write the same method two time in a class.
You're right.
Right.
But overriding only possible in the case of two classes, one existing and new writing, right?
Right.
If here you define one method and the same method you're defining here also, you can do duplicate method, you can say. Overriding
Mm-hmm.
means duplicate method. Same method here
Mm-hmm.
written, same method you're writing here.
All right.
Duplicate means same argument. Here the zero argument, zero argument. One
Mm-hmm.
argument, one argument. Then
Mm-hmm.
you can say override.
Acha.
Excuse me. Right?
Yeah.
Is it clear? It's very, very confusing in initial time, right?
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah, initial time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Initially, is very
So
confusing.
let's
Yeah.
do your exercise and read out and write some code and understand, right?
Sure.
True. True.
But these are the just terminology concept. If you look the class by simply writing the class name and method name, you already all know, right? But
Yeah.
Right,
now
right.
giving a different name with the context, right?
Yeah. Now, just like we can write the code, but now it's all about the rules and terminology now.
Correct. So this is the uh, logically concept about this two terminology in
Mm-hmm.
the object oriented programming language,
Mm-hmm.
overriding and
Mm-hmm.
overloading.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
sometime these two terminology have a different name as well. I just highlight here. So till now I
Okay.
have a turns two terminology: overloading and
Over.
overriding.
Yeah.
So if you talk about the principal polymorphism, just
Mm-hmm.
like I study, we learn about the inheritance and composition. This is the new terminology. Polymorphism is the one
Mm-hmm.
OOPS principle. Polymorphism,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The polymorphism we have achieved in the two format. Means polymorphism is the means overloading and overriding.
All right. Okay.
Overloading you can say compile time polymorphism.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Compile time polymorphism.
Acha.
Overriding is the runtime polymorphism.
Runtime
So
polymorphism.
someone asks, you know what is the polymorphism?
Mm-hmm.
Polymorphism means one thing have a different form. One thing have a different form, right? Notice our case. We have a say. Say is the one method have a different form. One, two argument form, three argument form, four argument form, right?
Right.
So this is the polymorphism. Polymorphism, any one things have a different form, right?
Acha. Uh-huh.
This is the
Then we can say
polymorphism.
we can say in one word the polymorphism is a thing that's who like which does have multiple way of what I can say.
Yeah. So let's one example. Let's I write one class.
Right.
Say, oh, sorry, static void print. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
here I can say like sub superclass. Okay, object obj.
Uh-huh.
Here say obj dot say. So this is the method. They whatever the pass object they call the say method. Here I am not saying what is the output of say.
Right.
So let us we create a two object. One is the your just comment out. I created superclass object equal to new superclass. Okay, and I create another object subclass object equal to new subclass. Okay. So notice I have written one simple method. They take one argument and call the same method. So let I call the print method, and print method I call the superclass object. Right? So whenever we call the superclass method, this method will print. So what is the output of say? In this line, we cannot say anything what is the output print. This depend upon the what object you pass, right? So let's I run this code. So notice this say method is printing like a say from superclass. Notice just say output, just demarcation. So here I'm run this code. Notice this say function is print what output? They print the superclass say. What happened if I pass this object subclass here? The same method previously, this method is printing output superclass.
Right.
Now if you run, this will print the subclass hello. So the output is depend upon the let's what object you pass. This is known as a runtime polymorphism. This means say function have a different implementation, right? Say one have a superclass, right? Say one have a subclass, right?
Right.
Two places the say function defined. So which say function give the output depend which object you created, right?
Right.
So this concept known as whatever the over this same method is overridden. This overridden known as a polymorphism. According to the situation, the say function give same this line output is printing sometimes subclass, sometimes superclass say hello. Why? Because what object you passing here?
Right.
So this is you can say polymorphism. Polymorphism. Polymorphism in two form. One is your compile time polymorphism. One is the runtime polymorphism. Compile time is overloading. Runtime is overwriting.
Okay.
So whatever you run, overloading, overriding, that means indirectly you learn what is polymorphism. Polymorphism means one thing have a many form. One thing have a many form. Let me
Okay, one thing having many form, that is a
example
polymorphism. Okay.
I am a one human
Yeah.
being, but
Yeah.
I have a different form. Currently, I am teaching you to look like a
Teaching.
teacher, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Might be after some time I am working as a employer,
Employer,
as a
right.
employee. Maybe I am a simple employee.
Right.
After some time I play role as a father.
Father, right.
Sometime I play role as a child.
Right.
Sometime I play role as a husband.
Right. Right.
So I have only one existence,
But
but I have a different form.
different
Sometime husband, sometime teacher, sometime employee.
different
This is
form or
why
different
this
role,
is the
something.
example of your runtime polymorphism. That means ki overriding. My behavior is changed depend upon the situation and condition.
I see. Okay, okay, okay.
So this is your polymorphism, runtime polymorphism.
So what do you say in one word? Just like one,
One
not a person.
polymorphism means ki one things have a many form.
One things have a many form. One thing have a many form. That's a
This is the
polymorphism. Yeah.
polymorphism. Poly is
Okay.
the Greek word means the many.
Many. Yeah. Exactly.
So good example, the runtime polymorphism, all are we are playing. Means ki
Right.
behavior is changed depend upon the situation. Here, like a
Right.
say
Right.
function, I am not know ki what is the say output
True. True.
because this is the overridden method. Might
Excuse
be
me.
sometime this print say superclass, sometime print say subclass, right?
Right.
Because the definition have a change. So this
Mm-hmm.
situation is the overriding, and overriding is a runtime polymorphism.
Sure. Okay. True. True.
Is it clear?
Yeah. It is clear now.
And notice here I written like something here like. So notice whenever I call some function two argument, is it
Mm-hmm.
clear always ki they have only called this two argument method? They are not called three or four, right?
Right.
So this is clear. Compile time compiler know ki whenever I'm going to call the sum, always you need a three argument. The three
Mm-hmm.
argument always I call only this function, right? No any
Mm-hmm.
other function can call
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because the argument are the distinguishing parameter.
Right.
So this is compile time no. Compile time no is overloading.
Yeah.
So you learn one thing and you can map to the multiple definition you can say.
Mm-hmm.
So just I
Mm-hmm.
so we have learned only one thing like a overloading and overriding, right? But
Yeah.
this is also known as a runtime polymorphism. Runtime
Mm-hmm.
polymorphism. This is known as a compile time polymorphism.
All right.
We completely complete the one object oriented principle polymorphism. Polymorphism means one thing, one thing have a many form, right? That means
Mm-hmm.
some function have a different form. One is the two for argument, one sum is the three argument, one sum is
Mm-hmm.
the four argument, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, here we have a say function. Say function is a sometime of superclass, sometime
Mm-hmm.
of the subclass. Runtime
Mm-hmm.
decide behavior,
Mm-hmm.
the overriding and overloading. So these are the you learn only two things, but map to the multiple oops principle.
All right.
So someone maybe ask you, no, what is the polymorphism? Yes, you can say, I know the polymorphism. Polymorphism means one thing, one object have a multiple form. Like here, say function have a one say function, but I can use different form. Maybe two argument, three argument, four argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is known as a compile time polymorphism. They are fixed
Mm-hmm.
method.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, runtime polymorphism. That means
Mm-hmm.
we have a one function say, because say is not only one function. Say is a multiple function, same signature, right? So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if we say you want this or this or this. The runtime
Mm-hmm.
is to decide which object you are going to create.
All right.
Here, I have a print function. The print function I call say function. I don't know what is the exact output, but whenever someone going to run and call this print method, if you are passing print method a subclass object, so this function
Mm-hmm.
print is the subclass say. If you passing the same method superclass, this will print the
Mm-hmm.
superclass. So this
Mm-hmm.
object, one object, behave different, depend upon the condition and situation.
Mm-hmm.
The same method is not always print the same output. Same
Mm-hmm.
method, different. Because if you click here, compiler confused ki which method you call. Maybe superclass or
Mm-hmm.
subclass. I don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like example, we all are the playing role as a runtime polymorphism, overriding.
Yeah.
Our behavior always override,
Yeah.
right?
It is absolutely true.
So indirectly today we also cover the polymorphism is the one of the principal object oriented principle, right?
Mm-hmm.
In object oriented, we have covered what is the object, what is the class, what is encapsulation, what is inheritance, what is
Sure.
composition. Now we to cover what is the polymorphism.
Polymorphism. Yeah. Yeah.
So there are
All,
more to polymorphism, or
no, this is
today
the complete polymorphism. There is no
this
more.
is no more?
You
Okay.
covered. If you
Okay.
know what is the overloading and overriding, that is
Right.
the
Right. Right.
polymorphism.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Great. Great.
what you are doing overriding means we have only one sum. In sum, you are given different form. Some with one argument, some with the two argument, some with the three argument. This is the
Mhm.
definition of a polymorphism. Polymorphism say you have a one object, one thing can have a multiple form.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is the theory of the polymorphism. A polymorphism generally two types: compile time and run time. Compile time means overloading, run time means overriding.
Mhm.
Let's do practice these things. If any confusion, surely we'll cover. But these are the almost we can say cover the object oriented programming feature. You
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
just revise all the things like what is the class, what is object, what is encapsulation, what is inheritance, what is composition, what is polymorphism. So
Mhm.
these are the main basic principle of object oriented programming language,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Still for today you have any doubt, question, confusion?
Not now, but like
For today, no.
it is like lots of things we got today, but like again, I have to just like follow this class recorded video tomorrow. In
Good.
here, I do
Let's
lots of
try. Still any doubt, confusion? Surely we'll discuss,
yeah,
right?
yeah, sure,
Yeah,
please. Yeah.
So that's good for the day.
Thank you.
yeah. So thank you.